Hi, it's Paul. Let's look at hurdle cell neoplasms of thyroid. So these are follicular neoplasms that demonstrate hurdle cell differentiation. We'll just look at a case that's a pretty typical example. This is quite bloody and poorly spread. You can see lots of clots, and in amongst the clot are largish looking epithelial cells even on this power, and on high power you can see they have abundant cytoplasm and quite large but round, uniformly round nuclei with what looks like little nucleoli in them. The PAP is probably better preserved and stained, and it shows a lot of hemosiderophages. And then see in the middle here a sheet of epithelial cells, and even at this power I can see they have eosinophilic granular cytoplasm. Same features, quite a pale nucleus and fairly large nucleoli, and quite a bit of binucleation. The cells are forming these flat sheets that don't have obvious cellular borders in between them. You can see spread throughout this and amongst all the clot, there's actually a lot of these cells, and there's really no follicular cells, really not much colloid, just high power. You can see the granules quite well on the ones on the right, and the nuclei. They're showing minimal anisokaryosis, but quite pale chromatin. So typical findings really are moderately to highly cellular specimens, and you want to see virtually a pure hurdle cell population. So hurdle cells, can be seen in benign conditions as well. So if they're seen mixed in with, say, macrofollicles and colloid, then that's typical of hyperplastic nodules, say in multinodular goiter. If there's lymphoid cells present, you have to eliminate that. They could be Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So we see a population of hurdle cells. They show typical oncocytic characteristics, and that includes, a low NC ratio, fairly abundant granular cytoplasm with red granules on a pap stain that reflects the high mitochondria content of the cytoplasm. They show a round nucleus, quite a large one, often with fairly pale chromatin, and a prominent nucleolus. When the hurdle cells are neoplastic, they tend to be the sole population sampled. They tend to be almost more monomorphic, so a little less variation nuclear size than normal, and nucleoli often are more uniformly large than are seen in normal hurdle cells that are part of, say, a Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So first thing you want to do if you see many of these is to look for other components. Rule out that there are macrofollicles and a lot of colloid present. Rule out that there's not lymphoid cells present. It can be a bit tricky sometimes because stripped follicular nuclei can look a lot like lymphocytes.